From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Chris Terrell Podcast, and I am your host, Chris Terrell, and welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you go through, and what lesson did you get from that failure? Come on now. Don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson. That's your reward for your troubles. Now, if you're new here, I've lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down again, before I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I made some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my real-life lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and to my systems of belief. Because it's all of those things that created me, it's all of those things that create you. And if you want to make some changes to your life that stick, you're going to have to go to the source and change the basic workings of your life. Now, this is going to be a fun episode of the podcast, and before we get to it, I want to invite you to come join my free Facebook group. You can find a link to that in the show notes of the podcast or by heading on over to christerrellcoaching.com. And if you have been thinking about joining my weight loss membership, the Guild of Champions, you can find more information out about that by heading on over to theguildofchampions.com. This week of the episode, I want to share with you a guild meeting. You see, when you come join the guild as a new member, we put you off in your own little group with all the other new people that join at the same time as you. And we give you your own special meetings and kind of shepherd you into the guild. Make sure you learn how to use the system, learn how to use everything. Because a lot of people, they get into the guild and they have this feeling of like, whoa, my gosh, this is so overwhelming. Because there's like over 250 hours of content in there. We have like several, like anywhere between 3 to 7 live meetings a week. We have rebroadcasts. We have support group meetings. We have this Marco Polo thing. We have the online community. We got all these different ways of connecting with the hundreds of other guild members. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And so we try to make sure to get you shepherded in. And this week we were wrapping up our last group, and I gave a presentation to them. And I thought, as I was going through and getting it prepared for re-upload back into the replays in the guild, I thought, I think I'm gonna share this with the podcast listeners. I want you all to listen to it. And not everybody was able to hear it, even that was in the guild. And I know many guild members listen to the podcast regularly still. And I wanted to share this with you here. So I'm going to just give just a brief precursor, and then I'm going to cut over to it and let you go listen to this. But I am sharing the story of hitting my goal weight and reflecting back on my journey from the place of hitting my goal weight of 165 pounds, completing my 125 pound journey. And I'm going to reflect back on the journey there. And it's my hopes that I'm going to recontextualize weight loss for you. It's hopes I'm going to recontextualize the weight loss journey that you're on. And maybe you'll see some aspects of it in a new light. I really want to change how you see the end of this journey. What does it mean? What experiences can you expect? Because you see, I've actually made it to the end of the weight loss. And I want to describe to you psychologically what that was like, so that you will know what it'll probably feel like for you. And here's the cool thing. I've gotten to talk to many other people that have hit their goal weight now, because that's what happens if you do this for long enough. You start helping people actually make it to the end. And I've heard them share their experience, and it's like, yep. Similar to mine. There's some very similar aspects to this. So I want to definitely encourage you to listen to this as we crack that open, because if you want to get to the end of your journey, well, here's a little story from people that have made it to the end. And again, just enjoy this. I hope you get a lot of value out of this episode. I think I found it to be tremendously valuable for people, and talking about the mindset shifts that I made from one part of the journey to the other, because it's the same mindset shifts that I hope you make as well. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and head on over to the podcast. It's my hopes that by this point, if you haven't already begun to shift your thinking from I'm trying to lose weight to something a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more beyond that. One of the things I don't want you thinking is that you are solving a weight loss problem. You're solving a weight gaining problem is what you're doing. Isn't that always been the problem, right? Whenever I'm not losing weight, I'm gaining weight. That's the problem you need to solve. If you don't solve that problem, it does not matter if you learn how to lose weight. It doesn't matter, because you're just going to gain it back the moment you stop. Whatever you set off to do, you are going to eventually stop, because there is something you're not going to do forever. There's something you're not going to do forever. Now, if I may, allow me to tell you the story of when I hit my goal weight. You see, I want you to visualize the end. I want you to visualize the end as often as you can, but you haven't lived it more than likely, most of you, right? Many of you, your goal weight, the actual goal weight you have, even the one that you're afraid to admit you want, but you know you want it. Many of you haven't seen that since you were much, much, much younger. Some of you, even as a teenager, was the last time you saw that weight, right? I want to describe to you mine. Maybe give you something little to work with. You see, at this point, coming in when I hit my goal weight, I had been on the journey for 26 months. 26 months I had been on the journey. As I would reflect back, I would look back and over my time, over the beginning of my journey, June 2019, and I would think, man, look at how far I've come. You see, the success was unhideable. Everyone could see it. My transformation was staggering. I had lost 125 pounds over 26 months. I hadn't been on the scale in like a month almost. Not because I was avoiding it. I wasn't avoiding it. I just was doing me. I was like, I love how I look. I love how I look in the mirror. I mean, love it. I have a six-pack. I've never had a six-pack. Ever. I went from beer keg to six-pack. And I'm like, I don't care what I weigh. I don't care. I don't care. I know I have a goal and I'll get there when I get there, but like, God damn, I'm not in any hurry. I love this. I mean, don't get me wrong, eating 1,750 calories a day, that part was getting a little old. That's how many I was eating, by the way, at the time. But I was running again. I was lifting 5 to 7 days a week. I loved it. Going to the gym, doing body weight exercises, doing strength training exercises. I wasn't making myself do it. I was compelled to do it. I had truly habitualized lifting. I went from, I got to make myself lift. Oh, it's so hard to get myself to go 3 times a week for 20 minutes. It was like Mount Everest to get myself to do that. And now I was at the place 2 years later where it's like, it'd be hard to get me to not go. As I felt compelled to not exercise in the beginning, I felt equally as compelled to exercise by the end. I had truly made it a habit at the deepest level. I loved how I ate. Anything I wanted to eat. I didn't give up a single food on the way down. I had pizza. I had ice cream. I had cake. I had booze. I had anything I could think of. If I wanted it, I had it. There was nothing that was off limits, and I knew that. I had proven it to myself. I had a six-pack from a beer keg, and I had everything. I broke every diet rule on the way down. I remember constantly eating food going like, there's no way I'm losing weight while eating food that tastes this good. I'm breaking every rule. I literally would say that out loud. I'm like, this is breaking all the rules, and I love it. I'm here for it. And I remember that one time I'm microwaving a potato, and I eat it. I'm like, this is a strange ass snack to have, but it's what I want and I'm going to have it. And so I'm like, here I am eating a sweet potato as a snack. Who am I? And then I remember I'm sitting there out of the pool with my family because I was at this point in my journey where I was now wanting to cause myself to eat healthy. Because remember, healthy is a different goal. I want you to be thin, goal, healthy, goal, happy, goal, in shape, goal. 4 separate goals, but all helping each other, right? But they're 4 separate goals. So I'm working on my healthy goal, and I'm like, it's time to move beyond toddler territory. Not because of weight loss, right? I can eat whatever I want and lose weight. I just want to eat a little healthier because the way I figured it, here's what's coming. If I don't change, here's what's coming. If I don't change, one day a doctor's going to look at me and say, yeah, it's all well and good you're skinny, but you're really unhealthy. And if you don't change how you eat, you're going to have a heart attack while you have a six-pack. Hope you enjoy that. I'm like, that's what's coming. And so a doctor's going to be like, you need to change how you eat. When? 5 years ago. Okay, can't do that. So when? Now. Oh, now. You mean I have to suddenly learn how to eat better overnight? I mean, I'm not even going to ask myself to do that. I'm not going to do it. Oh, you're going to die if you don't. Well, then I guess I'm going to die probably. Look, how many people are given a terrible sentence of health and yet they kill you? If you don't stop eating Snickers, you're going to get your foot cut off because of your diabetes problem. All right. That ain't worked. We know that don't work. So I'm sitting there like, let's not kid myself and pretend like a doctor telling me you need to eat better right now is going to motivate me. So it's like, here's how I see it. I can wait till I'm 50, 60 for that to happen. Or I can take my sweet ass time now and start learning to eat better. And then I can take many years and add like a food or two a year. Like, that sounds a lot more appealing. So I was trying that, and I was trying to get myself to eat like a rabbit, salad. And I didn't really like salad because I don't know if y'all know this. I don't talk about it a ton, but when I began my journey, it would have been easier to give you a list of foods I was willing to eat than to tell you the foods I don't like eating. I was a picky eater. I was the man child that ate like a child. Right? That's how I started this journey. That's why I love when a person's like, I can't lose weight, I'm a picky eater. I'm like, bull fucking shit. That actually is your superpower. You just don't even know it. Being a picky eater makes you uniquely set up for success if you'll let yourself use that superpower. I didn't know that. It was always my obstacle. Turned out it was my superpower. Anyway, I'm now getting to the place where I'm like, I want to learn to eat salad. I really want to learn to eat salad. And so what I started doing, I was playing with my hunger. I told myself at least 300 calories of my day have to go to, and I had a short list of foods that it had to go to. And I was like, and if you don't eat them, well, then you're just going to be hungrier that day because you don't get to eat those 300 calories. Because I was at a good place where I could pretty much say, you're eating this many calories tomorrow. And then I would do it. Because again, after 26 months of doing this, I was really good at doing it. I was really good at saying, I'm going to eat this. And then I eat that. And the person's like, well, Chris, do you want some of this? And I'm like, no, but I'm your grandmother. And you're still going to be my grandmother if I don't eat it. Like, I just moved beyond all that. All the excuses that everybody makes in the first 6 months to a year of their journey that I made too, I had moved beyond them, as all of you will too. You all have excuses that you made if you're in the beginning, let me talk to those of you in your first 6 months a year of your journey. You are making excuses now that you won't make a year from now. And not only will you not make them a year from now, you're going to look at yourself now and be like, bless your heart. I was so silly. Why was I doing that? Look at me. And then you're going to see other new people in the guild because you're still going to be here, because you're still going to be on your journey, and you're going to be like, oh, I remember when I used to think like you too. You're so adorable. I'm not going to tell them. Are you going to tell them? No, let's not tell them. Let's wait. Let's let them find out for themselves in 6 months. That's how this journey goes. That's what's so fun about the community, because your struggles are normal. We've all been there. Yeah, I know. You think it's special. It's not. Like, you can do this. Yeah, it sucks. We know how much it sucks. That's why we could laugh about it or cry about it. So we're going to choose to laugh about it because we're going to cry enough as it is. We don't need to make more. And so you're going to go on this journey. You're going to just keep changing. You're going to keep growing. And it's going to be such a fun thing to watch for each and every one of you as you go on this. And I'm over here realizing, looking back at my old self going, you're so funny. I'm in a good place. And I'm telling myself, anyway, only 1,200 or 13, I don't remember how many 100 calories can come from whatever. The rest have to be off this list of healthy foods. Because I thought, I noticed something. When I'm really hungry, my willingness to eat food not only goes up, but it widens. Turns out when I get really hungry, the foods I'm willing to eat go up in number, not down. That's how I discovered, by the way, the difference between a craving and hunger. You see, a craving over time will intensify and center around only a handful of foods. General hunger, it will actually expand. You will become more willing to eat other foods, because the hunger will be driving you to do it. So that's, by the way, a little pro tip if you're trying to tell the difference between hunger and cravings. And I remember I'm at the pool and I'm like, oh, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, how many calories I got? I'm like, I got this many calories. This place is bar food. Shit. There's nothing I can eat that's going to keep me full. But I was like, but they got this chicken salad. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this. And I'm like, do it. I'm like, I'm so hungry though. I'm willing to bet I'll like it. Like, I'm really hungry. I'm really, really hungry. And I don't want to leave the pool to drive home to go get my food. Because that's what I was going to do. It was real simple. It's order the salad or drive home. A beginner would have been like, oh, well, I guess I just got to get whatever because I'm hungry and there's nothing else here. No, I'd moved past that. It was eat what I said I was going to eat or leave, because I'm a grown-ass adult with keys and a debit card. So I can solve this problem by leaving. And I didn't want to leave, because my whole family's there at the pool. Like, it's Memorial Day weekend or something. Like, we're all there. I don't remember what day it was exactly. It was some holiday thing. And I was like, I'll order the salad. And I remember the buzzer went off and I'm so hungry because not only did I order the salad, it turns out they apparently needed to go grow the lettuce so that they could harvest it. It took them so long to make it. And so finally they hit the buzzer. I'm like, woohoo, my salad's ready. Then as I'm walking to get it, I'm like, who am I? Why did I just say that? I've never, ever until today, that day said, woohoo, my salad's ready. I had never said that. That's not what Fat Chris says. Not because salads have anything to just do with being thin or whatnot. Just Fat Chris didn't eat salad. And so I get it, and I'm like, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, just go for it. And I just grab a piece of chicken, grab a salad. And again, I'm the ridiculous kid that's like touching something to the tongue. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And I'm like, I'm so hungry. This actually tastes good, but I also hate it at the same time. I'm very conflicted what to do here. And so I ate as much of it as I could. And I was like, I did that. And I'm like real proud of myself. Like I had that big win under my belt. And I'm at the gym. I finished working out. And there's a scale there in the locker room that I already knew matched my home scale. So I knew whatever that said, my home scale would show me the same thing. Otherwise, only home scale counted, right? If it wasn't home scale, no, consistent unit of measure. Because I discovered I get on my scale, it says the same thing. Well, sometimes some other people's scales are sons of bitches and they tell me I'm 4 pounds heavier. Fuck you, scale. No, I'm not. This is the scale that matters. This is the source of truth. I had calibrated, so I knew I could trust that one. So I stand on it. I'm like, I'm curious what I weigh. It's that counterbalance kind. So I move it to 150 and I slide it over to 170 or to the 20 for the 70. And I'm like, Tap it to the left. Didn't move yet. Tap to the left a little bit. It still didn't move. What the fuck? Tap. Well, this is saying 167. I mean, I am gently tapping it because I'm like, no. I'm gently tapping. 166? No. 165 and a half? Mm-hmm. It moved a little bit. Tap. 165? It lifts up, and it just settled right in. Right there. 165. I did it. The day that I was seeking to find. There it was. I didn't know today was going to be that day. I didn't know this moment was where I was going to see it. It wasn't even in my bathroom that I was doing it all the time. It was right here at the gym, middle of the day. I didn't get up and make sure I went poop first. No, I just got on the scale in the middle of the day. Oh, after workout might have some inflammation. No, I just got on the scale. Because I didn't care about any of that shit anymore because I knew none of that shit mattered, really. That was all just stuff I was using to explain away my fear. Because none of it mattered. I had long ago moved past that, as most people in the final stretch of their journeys do. They're like, it goes up, it goes down. It's like an elevator. I don't worry about it. It does what it's supposed to do. Whereas in the beginning, you're like, the scale didn't do what it's supposed to do today. Oh no, I'm a failure. It went up 3 pounds. Well, I better explain it. Because that's what's going to happen, y'all. You are literally going to change your mind. There are things that you do that I just find amusing. And there are things that I do that you're like, no, that'll never be me. But one day you'll be me. And you'll look back at you and you'll find it amusing. Go talk to anybody later stage in the journey. You just see it different. That's a sign of growth. You've changed your mind. So I'm standing there looking at this number. I didn't feel anything. I was like, it was just like, the novelty had wore off. All right, I lost another pound. Big whoop. I've done this a lot the last couple of years. Like a lot. Like 125 times, actually. Technically more than that, but because you get some weight regain, you got to lose it. But the novelty had kind of wore off a little bit. Some of y'all got 150-pound journeys, 200-pound journeys. Novelty's going to wear off somewhere around 100 pounds. I already loved how I looked in the mirror. Right? Like getting on that scale didn't make me look in the mirror and be like, oh, you're sexier now. I was like, the same. I didn't feel better in my skin. I'd already been loving how I felt. I didn't have this rush of like, oh, thank God, now I can eat pizza again. Now I can eat such and such again. I didn't have any of that because I already ate everything I wanted. I didn't have this feeling of like, oh, now I don't have to work out anymore. Yes. No, because I wanted to work out. I wasn't making myself do it. I wanted to be there. Oh, now I don't have to worry about healthy foods or anything. I was eating healthy because I wanted to, but it had nothing to do with my weight. It was because I wanted to be healthy. It didn't matter what I weighed. Oh, I lost my weight. Now it's okay, self. You've hit your goal weight. You now have permission to love yourself. You've done it. Now it's okay. It's okay to love yourself. You've done it. No, I didn't have that. I'd loved myself like 120 pounds prior. Like, I already had it. Oh, now I'm good enough. Now people will know I'm enough, and I'll know I'm enough. I already did that. I'd already decoupled that from weight loss, like, because they were never together. I was the one making them be together, and I'm like, cut that shit out, self. Stop taking your self-worth and your body and going, they're the same thing. They're not. I had to stop doing that because that's what I did. I'm a better person because I'm thin. What? No. I had fixed that a long time ago. I saw this number. And you know why I felt nothing? Because I had been celebrating for a long time. I had already celebrated. I had already become the man I was going to become. I had already become the person I was going to be. My life had already been installed months prior, and my body was just catching up. There was nothing new. It was just, I'm done. But at this point, nobody wanted to talk about my weight loss anymore, hardly. I'd been kicking ass for so long, people just didn't want to hear about it anymore. Those of you that lose a lot of weight, you'll know. New people will be excited. People that don't know you will be excited. But those that are in your life all the time, at a certain point, they're just going to not want to hear about it anymore. They're going to be like, yeah, I'm excited for you. Great job. You don't look any different than you did 10 pounds, though. You look the same. Now, your spouse might be like, yeah, if I noticed the last 10 pounds. Because they see you without your clothes on. Nobody else does. The last 10 pounds don't look that different. You know, you've already come to terms with the fact that people are going to treat you differently because you're thin. You've already encountered that. You've been dealing with that for the last 30 pounds. You've already dealt with I am pissed. I am mad. Because you know what? People are actually nicer to me. I had this fear in my head that people were treating me poorly because I was big. And turns out it's true. It's true. I am actually ignored because I'm fat. I am actually not taken as seriously because I'm fat. I am actually passed over for things because I'm fat. I am actually been missing out on all sorts of things because I'm fat. This fear is true. And it has been getting my face rubbed in it for the last 6 months. Because all of a sudden, I can say the same shit I was saying before in the exact same way. And people are going, yeah, you're right. I can say the same jokes and people, they'll be like, that's funny. They're like, that's so funny, Chris. Like, you know, I'm at a gas station pumping gas. No one ever in my entire life has ever spoken to me at a gas pump. And this is the 3rd time this month it's happened. I'm used to getting on elevators. No one talks to me. I never get talked to on an elevator. And all of a sudden, why are you talking to me? People like you never talk to me. And you're talking to me. And I don't like it. Because I'm the same person that I was before. I'm just thinner. And you'll have already dealt with that. When you hit your goal weight, you will have already experienced all that. That won't suddenly hit you then. That hit you before. The new clothes, you're going to have this feeling where you're just like, this is looking pathetic. I think I got to go buy some clothes. And then you're going to go home and you're going to be like, do I have any pairs of pants that fit? And you're like, shit, I literally have no pants. None. I woke up 2 weeks ago and I had pants that kind of fit. And I woke up today and I have no pants that fit. And you go in, you're getting your belt down to the you're cutting a hole into your belt, hold your britches up, and and you're like, well, this is ridiculous. And you go into work looking like a kid that found his daddy's clothes or mommy's clothes and dressing like an adult because they're just so big. And you're like, I gotta go buy new clothes. And you complain about it at work, and somebody's like, yeah, must be nice to have to go buy clothes. You're like, look, I recognize it's a great problem to have, but it's an actual problem. Last month, I ran out of underwear. Have you ever suddenly not been able to wear all of your underwear? I have 3 times. It's weird. It's a weird problem. You know what? I've learned from ladies that I didn't know about. Sorry, I have now learned how expensive bras are. Sorry. You're gonna be getting new ones a bunch of times. And you're gonna be like, shit, this is getting expensive. I have one bra. One. I'm not letting anybody see it till I'm done losing weight and I get to buy the rest of them because this one's been well loved. Because it's the only one I got. Now, I'm not spending a bunch of money. Why? Because I'm not going to be able to wear this one in 2 months. This is getting old. You're going to have already experienced all that. You already have the wardrobe. Remember what I said? Last 10 pounds, you don't look much different. So you already got it all. Hitting goal weight. I already got the new wardrobe. I guess I go buy more clothes. You know, you've already fallen in love with the fact because maybe you've flown that you're like, I can get a middle seat. I literally booked a middle seat on a plane on purpose just because I could. I wanted to do it and it be comfortable. I had never in my entire life sat in a middle seat and was comfortable and I wanted to do it. I did it. I flew Spirit Airlines just to do it. Once was enough. And I did it because I just wanted to sit in that little tiny ass seat and be comfortable. And I was like, this is amazing. Look, I can see the seat next to me. I can look down and see it. I can see it. I remember crossing my legs in the plane. I'm like, look at all this room. This is amazing. Turn to find out I can make the airlines change all their seats or I could just lose weight. Turns out losing weight was a lot easier because I can't make the airlines change jack shit. And they're just going to keep making the seats smaller, I think. You've already had all that when you hit your goal weight. Because remember, you're not screaming down, flying fast, crash dieting the weight off. You're embracing the turtle and making your way there slowly. No problem. So I hit my goal weight. And the reason why I felt nothing was because nothing changed. Except one thing. I didn't have to sit in my hunger anymore. That's it. The way I worked out didn't change. In fact, I ramped it up because now I had enough food to fuel it. My working out went crazy. I ended up going off and running an ultramarathon. In case you don't know what that is, that's running over 26 miles. I've done it twice. Ran 31 miles once and 36 another. I've run 2 marathons. I climb mountains just 'cause. In 2 days, I ran 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So again, my fitness didn't come down. It went up. I could fuel it. I wasn't so tired. I had the energy. And I was in the lightest, most in-shape body I had ever had in my life. It was fun. My fitness journey was just skyrocketing because I had accomplished the thin goal. My goal of becoming thin now switched to stay thin. The goal didn't go away. It just transformed. It leveled up. I didn't introduce any foods back because everything I wanted to eat was already there. The only thing that happened is when I was hungry, I ate. Instead of going, I'm hungry, let's sit in it for a couple hours and then eat. That's it. And instead of let's sit in it for a couple hours and then eat slightly less than I think I'd like to have, again, to make sure I have a deficit, it's I'm hungry. Let's eat until the hunger goes away and then stop eating. And when I get hungry again, eat again. The only thing that changes is I didn't have to wake up in the morning feeling just a little bit hungry. The only thing that changes is I didn't have to go through my days being just a little bit hungry most of the time. Right? I was never a lot hungry anymore because I discovered if I'm a lot hungry all the time, I act like a fucking asshole. And I just go sabotaging my goals all over the place because I'm just too damn hungry. I discovered if I'm just a little hungry, I'm a much more reasonable person, right? Much more reasonable. So I just embraced that because again, what's the rush? I had long before the end, given up the rush. Trust me. For well over a year, my body on the inside, my mind every day was like, you know, you've already proven you can do this. Why don't you do keto and crash the rest of it off? Just get it off and then you'll be done. I had been dealing with that for a year until finally that voice went away and I was quite comfortable with the slowness because I was like, I love my life. Yeah, I'm a little hungry. That part's annoying, but if I don't bitch about it, it's not a problem. I discovered my incessant whining and complaining just made it worse. Why? Because my brain kept thinking about it. I'm hungry. I discovered I'm hungry. Let's go do something to distract myself. I'm bored. I want to eat. Let's go do something to distract myself. Oh, I'm emotional. I want to eat. Let's go do something to distract myself. I'd already learned that 9 out of 10 times the answer to most of my food problems was, let's go find something to distract myself with. And I'd already had realized, I spent so much of my life thinking about the acquiring of food, the preparing of food, the eating of the food, and then thinking about the food I just ate, and then getting ready to repeat the cycle. I'm afraid to add up the amount of hours I used to spend doing that. It is a lot. Oh, let's not even talk about the money I've saved. Good heavens, I used to spend so much money on food. Why am I bringing this up? Because I had already come to terms with the fact my life got so much more shit done because I took all of the money and the time and the brain power that I used to spend dealing with food and acquiring food and preparing food and thinking about food and working about food and whining about not having food, I took all of that, bundled it up, and then threw it into the rest of my life. And then my life started to expand, to grow, because all of that energy, rather than going to expanding my body, was expanding my life. It takes a lot of money, time, and effort to become 300 pounds. It just does. It takes a substantial amount of effort, I now realize. I didn't know, because I had habitualized it. I had habitualized gaining weight. So it was easy. It was not hard for me to eat the amounts of foods I was eating, but I had to do it pretty regularly. I had to be willing to live with debilitating acid reflux most of the time. That was the cost of becoming as big as I wanted to be, and I was willing to pay it. I had to be willing to be in chronic pain all the time to become almost 300 pounds. I had to. That was the cost. I had to be willing to spend so much money on food. I'd have invested just half of it. Man, I've done that math. That'll make you sad. So, all those realizations were already happened. And all that changed was I didn't have to be hungry anymore. That's it. I'm telling you this because I want you to know your life will not change when you hit your goal weight. In fact, nothing will change except you get to eat a little more. At least the way I'm going to teach you to do it. You will have changed, though. If you do it the way I'm going to teach you, it's going to take a long time. I'm not interested in helping you lose weight. I'm not. I have no interest in that. I'm interested in helping you become a thin person. That is a very different solution and a very different path than just losing weight. And if you do it that way, if you become a thin person, when you get to your goal weight, all the transformation will have already occurred along the way. You are going to become the next version of yourself slowly over time. There will be moments when you will notice it. You will feel it. It'll often be somewhere nearby an uncomfortable conversation or situation that you took action on. But a lot of the change will be imperceptibly slow. You will many times have somebody come up to you and say, "You look like you've lost weight." And you're like, "Really?" And you didn't notice it. But then there'll be times you're like, "Oh, what in the world? When did I lose all that much? All that weight?" I want you to leave behind the lifestyle that led to the weight gain. Leave it behind and install a new lifestyle that is upgraded across the board from the previous one. If your job stresses you out and it leads to your emotional eating, my answer to you isn't going to be, let's find a diet plan. My answer is going to be, leave the job, change the job, or stop using it as an excuse and learn to not let it stress you out. If your romantic relationship is a cause of emotional stress, I'm going to say, leave the relationship, change the relationship, or you stop using it as an excuse and learn to not be bothered by it. If your financial situation is causing you to emotionally eat, my answer to you is going to be fix it or fix it. Because this is a skills issue and you can fix it. If you're not making enough money to reduce the stress in your life, go learn how to earn more money. I'm telling you, it's easier than you think it is, unless you think it's hard, in which case it will be hard. If you find that anything in your life is stressing you out, here in the guild, I'm going to say, leave the situation, just get out of it, change it, or stop complaining about it and learn to be happy and okay with it being there. Those are your only three choices. You will never hear me say, well, I guess you better sit here and wallow and do absolutely nothing to make anything better and forever. I'm never going to give you that answer. You say, well, this is why I had to eat food. I'm going to say, that's one way to look at it. Anytime you hear me say that's one way to look at it, that's my little subtle jab at saying, if there's one way, that implies that there are alternative ways. What about them? Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else. And I'm usually going to be very interested in what you said no to, because you're going to find that often you don't even realize what you said no to, because you were so focused on what you were going to say yes to. For you to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to solve your weight loss journey in ways you've never done it before. And there's a good likelihood that many of you have found your way to your highest weight because of emotional eating. Boredom eating is emotional eating. Emotional eating is real simple. If you're not hungry and you're eating, it's an emotional eat. End of story. It's not that complicated. Now, there's a spectrum from really not a problem, like just some boredom, mindless eating, to binge eating disorder. bulimia, right? Disorders are on the other end of the spectrum, but there is an entry point onto the spectrum. And the entry point onto the spectrum is eating when you're not hungry. It's up to you to decide what's okay and what's not with regards to that. But chances are there's enough of it that's problematic, and you're going to have to learn to change that. And the way you change it is not by dieting. You see, one of the other things we're going to do here in the guild is address the root cause of your weight gain. And the root cause of your weight gain is not, I haven't found the perfect protein recipe yet. It's not, oh, what's the magical way to split up my macros? Oh, Chris, what's the optimal time of day to eat? I need now these omega-3 fatty acids. Should I fast? It's none of that shit. That all helps with the mechanics of creating a calorie deficit. Yeah. Sure. We'll fiddle with that stuff as necessary. Only when necessary. None of that is going to fix the emotional eating. Weight is equivalent to a headache. It's a symptom. Body weight is not the disease. Body weight is the symptom of something else. And you must address that. Now, some of you might have a physical condition that is contributing to your weight gain. Thankfully, almost all of them are fixable with a doctor or a dietitian. But for the most part, you're going to find you can do most of this by yourself. You can do the weight loss mostly by yourself. And you've always been able to do it mostly by yourself. It's always been the case. And we're just going to actually encourage you to take extreme ownership and take total responsibility for the results that you're getting in your life. Because once you get to your goal weight, you discover the other thing. There's no finish line. There's no end. You see, diets are a finite solution to an infinite problem. An infinite problem needs an infinite solution. Because the problem you have isn't weight loss, and it's not even weight gain. It's you need to learn how to manage your weight. This is a weight management thing. And you'll realize weight and body management, you are responsible for doing until you are dead. When you are dead, you get out of it. But until you are dead, this is your body, and you're the custodian of it. You're responsible for it. No one else. Your parents were responsible for your body until you turned 18, at which point it became your responsibility. I am sorry, some of your parents did not do a good job at teaching you how to take care of your body. We can complain about it. We can talk about it. Sure, if you need to, we can do that. But ultimately, we're going to arrive at the same place, which is you're here now, and you're the one responsible for taking care of your body. So are you going to take responsibility or not? And many people are going to be like, but Chris, I want to be at my goal weight now. I'm so frustrated. I want to be there now. Time is your most valuable ally. Small actions repeated over a long period of time can create tremendous results. Your greatest enemy to progress is going to be your own internal impatience. This journey will make you more patient because you're going to feel everything inside you want to go faster. And you're going to say, no, slow down, keep it slow. You should always feel like you can do more, but you should simultaneously feel like you're actually doing something. You should be able to feel it, to know what it is that you're doing. And so as you get to your goal weight, remember that there's no finish line, and remember that nothing will actually change there. All the transformation will have occurred before, and all the other transformations will occur after, because hitting your goal weight is nothing more than a moment in time when you observe your weight on a scale. And now begins the infinite job of maintaining the results of all your hard work. So maybe, just maybe, don't be in such a damn hurry to get there, because it's very scary when you realize, oh shit, I now have to do all the things that I was doing so that the scale doesn't move. The one thing that I might have told myself is bad. Because remember, along this journey, you're going to have periods of maintenance, and you're going to be very tempted to reinforce the very problematic belief that maintenance is not okay, that somehow it's not good enough. Maintenance is always a victory. If over the holiday season, you typically would gain 5 to 15 pounds and you maintain the same weight over a holiday season, you just kick that holiday season's ass, because normally you'd gain weight and this time you didn't. That's a big fucking deal. Or you can kind of be a dick and say, oh, I only maintained. I wanted to lose. Look how terrible I did. Look how not good I did. I didn't want to maintain my weight. I wanted to lose my weight. I am such a bad dieter because I didn't lose weight over the holiday season. I know people don't actually throw tantrums like that, but I'm being really dramatic because I want it to look really silly. I want you to, when you start complaining about maintaining over the holiday seasons, I want you to go, shit, do I look like that? I hope I don't look like that. Maybe I won't do, maybe I just won't say anything. Don't take away your victories. Never. Every day find a win on this journey. I don't know when. I don't. Some of you have already hit your moment, but there's going to come a moment where you realize that this journey isn't all fun. You're going to reach moments where you realize your goal is, and the situation are really incompatible right now. Sometimes you're going to have some really inconvenient circumstances dropped in your lap. I had a pandemic happen in mine. So I've come to really believe that you truly have no way to know what's coming. You just don't know. There's no such thing as a sure thing. All you can do is work with what you got in front of you. And that's it. Take it a day at a time. Your body that you're chasing, that's waiting for you on the other end of this journey, will come in due time. This will take longer than you think, but not as long as it could. But it will be entirely up to you how long this takes. But don't go trying to control it. The more you try to control the results, the more elusive they will be. It's going to feel weird, but you need to find this Zen-like place of caring and not caring at the same time. Because if you act out of desperation for short-term gains, you will pick the wrong choices and sacrifice your long-term sustainability. Never, ever, 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 do I have everybody's attention? Ever, ever, ever pick a solution just because it's faster. If you ever have a change you're going to make, and the only reason you're doing is like, it's going to make my weight loss go faster, I want you to seriously reconsider if you should do it. You may end up making the same thing, but you need to have other reasons for doing it. Because if you chase speed, let me tell you what will happen from firsthand experience of watching way too many people crash and burn on their journey. I have lost count. It is in the hundreds that I have watched. Is you burn out, trying to do too much, too fast, asking yourself unreasonable things, comparing yourself to everybody else, constantly saying you're not doing good enough, constantly saying you got to do more, and never allowing yourself a minute of damn peace and enjoyment and satisfaction. You're waiting, you're letting it, that feeling you want, no, that's on the other side of when the scale goes down. You are setting yourself up for quitting. You never quit a diet. You've never quit one. What you've quit is the attitude in your head. You quit what was going on up in here. You quit the noise. The scale didn't go down. There's the noise in our head. I saw myself in the mirror and saw how not thin I am yet. There's the noise in the head. I get on the scale and see I just maintained for the last month. There's the noise in my head. I walked into a party I wasn't expecting to be at, and there was pizza there, and I decided to have a little bit. There's the noise in my head. You're going to have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to be an absolute villain to yourself in your head. You got to find the will to not do that. You've got to find the strength to be nice. I don't care if in the past using meanness, bullying, cajoling, and manipulation of yourself to get yourself to act has worked. I don't care. It also probably contributed to why you got fat. Compassionately guide yourself to the finish line. Gently talk to yourself like you would your best friend. When in doubt, be nicer. Not saying let yourself off the hook. I'm not saying don't hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself accountable. But be nicer. Be nicer. All of you have an unknown journey in front of you. Some of you are near the beginning, some of you are in the middle, some of you are near the end, but all of you have a journey in front of you. It's going to have twists, it's going to have turns. Let me tell you what I have noticed from those that are succeeding. Number one, they keep their mindset right. Every day they're watching their mindset. They never go more than a day or two with a bad mindset before they're trying to bring it back. And when their mindset is drifting, they use the tools available to them. You see, what's going to happen is when your mindset begins drifting, you are going to feel this urge to withdraw and pull away from your support group. For some of you, you will actually find your support group here in the guild. I also want to encourage you to find one in the real world. It's easy to retreat from us, but it's harder to retreat from people in your real life. When I say real life, as in locally where you live. It's going to seem scary and intimidating, but I want to encourage you to make friends here in the guild, because it is probably going to be your friends that get you through the hardest times. You are going to get discouraged and lose faith in yourself at moments sometimes. Sometimes it'll be a moment, you'll blast right through it, it'll be no problem. Sometimes it'll get a hold of you high and deep and you'll have a hard time letting it go. In those moments, you need your supportive people in your life to remind you of your goal and to remind you to keep going and to remind you why you're doing it and to remind you that you are amazing, you are awesome, and you are capable of doing this. But it's up to you to listen to them or not. You got to find people in your life and be real with them. If you're just putting on a mask, no one can help you. You'll never find an OSP group sitting at home by yourself, not reaching out. If you want to be found, raise your hand. Not literally, but metaphorically speaking. Put yourself out there and be found, and be patient. Don't go to the Facebook group and go, I need a big circle of friends, and think you're going to get one in a week. Don't even think you're going to get one in a month. Friends take effort, time, proximity, and quality of interactions. Those are essential for bonds to form. If you don't show up and if you don't talk, if you stay a fly on the wall, if you just lurk around, you're squandering the power that the guild has. I created it to be a community because you're a byproduct of your lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and belief systems. Your community is what's going to help you get through this. I created it to be that resource. My hopes are that today I have recontextualized some of how you see the journey. I hope that you see the weight loss, the end of it differently. I want you to see the journey you're on and recognize it's really cool. Because there's one other emotion that was there at the end that was very surprising to me. A few moments after I had seen the number, I walked over to my bench there at the locker and I sat there and I was like, now what? I've been chasing this my whole life. I've never lived without needing to lose weight. I've always needed to lose weight. I've never been here. This has always been the biggest problem, the unsolvable, they'll never be me problem. And now it's me. It's gone from the thing I've wished I could do but didn't think I could to the thing I just did. And the emotion that I found there was interesting because I would never have expected to find it there. I was sad because I was grateful for every single month of that journey. Every single day of those 26 months I'm grateful for. Every single hard time I'm grateful for. Every single good time I'm grateful for. Every single hard-earned lesson I'm grateful for. It was the perfect opportunity to find my own limitations, my own limited thinking of my potential, and go move beyond it. Because I couldn't outsource anything. I had to do all the work myself. And I was sad it was over. The journey you're on, I was sad when it was over because of what it taught me about myself. It helped me grow as a person because I let it do that for me. You can get to the other side and not let it help you in that way. You can. People do it all the time. But I think that'd be a tragedy. So be grateful that you are here, that you have the opportunity to be working on your weight. Be grateful that you're capable, that you found the will to begin. Don't give it up again. Remember how hard it was to summon the will to begin. Don't go back to not caring because you might not summon the will again. Enjoy the journey and you'll be amazed at how your life's going to change. It's going to be a tremendously exciting thing. And I can't wait to see you all on the other side. I'm going to be here the entire time. I've been doing this for years and I ain't stopping. And so I want to be there with you. I want to see your after photos. I want to hear the tales from between the before and the after. Because I know it's between the before and the after where all the magic happens. When you see the after, the magic's already happened. It's already done. I hope you enjoyed that. If you would like to get more content like this, consider joining the Guild of Champions. We've got over 250 hours of content like this, and we're doing several live meetings a week, every week. We've been doing it for years. This month actually marks the 2-year anniversary of the Guild being formed, and we would love to have you come be a part of that. If you are interested in learning more about the Guild of Champions and you're considering becoming a Guild member, head on over to theguildofchampions.com to learn more.